Pixies, a new small box card game from Pandasaurus that is all about building out a grid with numbers. What do I mean by that? Well, watch this brief how to play and then join me afterwards to see how it go. This is how to play two-player Pixies. You're going to have the first player start by revealing 4 cards. You don't have to do them in 2 lines. You can do them in 1 line. I'm doing this based on the space that I have available. Then, starting with the first player, they're going to choose a card from the display. When they choose a card, they're going to they're going to have an imaginary grid with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in there, and they're going to put it in one of those slots. So let's say they take this 4, it'd be 1, 2, 3, they'd be putting it in spot 4. Then the next player will go, they will say take this 9, and then the first player will go again, choosing one of these. They're going to take a 6, put it in that area, and then the other player will take a 7. The last person to take a card will then reveal 4 more cards. They say, take the 9. I'm going to grab the 6. When you grab a card that has a number that you already have in your grid, there's 2 possibilities that can happen. One, if the card is not already validated in that it does not already have a face down card underneath it, you're going to choose one of these to stay face up, and then put the other one face down, thus validating the card. If this card had already been validated, I take another 6. I will instead, so say this is a 6. I would instead take it face down and put it in one of my areas. I cannot, however, slide it under a previously placed card. Jumping ahead, the round looks like this, and I am first to choose. I am going to choose the 7, putting it here, which instantly validates it because there's already a face down card there. My opponent will take this 5, leave me the 4 and the 7. So no matter which one I choose, I'm going to trigger the end of the round. The end of the round happens once someone has their entire grid filled, whether they're validated or not. So we are going to say, take this 4 and put it here. The round will now end once this card is taken. Had that been the first card I took this round, instead, my opponent will grab one of these cards, and then that still triggers the end of the round, and then we move on to scoring, even though there's 2 cards left, because we both took a turn in that, or took a card in that turn. For scoring, you're going to be looking at 3 things. First thing you're going to do is you're going to score points for your validated cards. Your validated cards score points based on their numerical value. So in this case, my 4, my 5, my 6, and my 7. For 4, 9, 15, 22 points from those. You are then going to look at symbols. Every little spiral symbol here gives you a point. Every X symbol gives you a negative point. You have some that show the spiral with the slash. That means it's going to score points for every one of those cards in your area, even if it's not validated. Same thing with these symbols, score even if the card's not validated. So I have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 13 positive, 6 negative, which means I would have 7 points. The third thing you're going to look at is your color groups. You're going to look at your largest group of connected colored cards, which are orthogonally left, right, up, and down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, these do not need to be validated. And then based on round number, you're going to multiply that by either 2, 3, or 4. 2 points in round 1, 3 points in round 2, and 4 points in round 3. So if this was round 1, it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 2 is 10 points. There are wild cards in the deck. These wild cards count as any color for scoring your symbols and for scoring the color groups. You are going to play over 3 rounds. The person who starts the next round will be the last person to have played a card, just like you do throughout the turns. Then whoever has the highest score after 3 rounds is the winner. And there you go. That's how you play Pixies. So let's get started. Let's look inside the box. The box doesn't contain much. It contains a bunch of cards, and it contains an instruction manual. Those cards, though, do feel really nice. They're a good size. All the numbers, as you saw, are nice and big. The symbols are big, easily discernible. The art, very cute, very engaging. We did play this with the youth, and they absolutely loved the art. Every card, they're like, this is me, this is me. So they really enjoyed the art, as did I. It's got that cute, whimsical feel, looking kind of realistic. I really enjoy that art style. The cards themselves are colorblind friendly. They have this thing called Color Add, which is the color alphabet that is used under license by Bombix. It is a universal, inclusive, and non-discriminative language that enables the colorblind to identify colors. So if you'll notice, they kind of had like those little symbols in the color boxes. That way you can tell what it is without being able to see the color. And it does also help then when you have the whole like get one per this color and then having that shape there. So it is very helpful. The rule sheet itself worked really well. When you actually expand it out, there's a big picture of like the Pixies artwork on there that you can use as a poster if you don't even need the rules. I will say the one issue I had when I initially read the rules is the example they gave for like turning a 3 over or tucking a 3 under or what have you, like referenced the grid up above, and I didn't realize that initially, so that the way that they had that laid out did slightly confuse me, but then once I realized it was in relation to the one above it, that was what clarified it for me. So, but overall, inside that box, there is, like I said, a lot of cute cards, and everything is laid out well. As for the two-player experience, so when you play 2 players, as you saw, you deal out 4 cards. In a 3 and 4 player count, you just deal out 1 per player. So I really like that added strategic element in a 2-player game because you can kind of like look out there and see if you can plan about what card you're getting next, as opposed to you taking a card and the next 3 just get splayed out and then you're not sure what's going to be coming up there. This one you do know both cards you're going to be taking in that turn. And it really also helps you be able to figure out what you might be able to try and stick your opponent with. Or knowing when the end of game might be coming up quicker than normal. Because looking at the cards, you may realize no matter what you leave them, your opponent's going to be ending the game with their next pick, which means this is for sure the last card. Or you know you're going to get 2 before they have to end it. So being able to see almost like a turn ahead, although you're still playing the same turn, to me really added a strategic element to it. We did play this at 3 players, I said, with the youth, just to kind of see like how different is it between those two. And we found at the 3 player, when you're only having the 1 card come up, again, you can't plan ahead of it. But we noticed we were validating more cards. The game was lasting a little bit longer. And I think it's because you then need like more of a specific number to end the round. Because if you're drawing a bunch of 5s in a 2-player game, you know, each person takes 2 5s, and then all the rest are going to start filling in all those extra spots, whereas having those additional 2 5s that can be used by the other player does seem to kind of extend it, which lets you validate more and get slightly higher scores. And we'll have that dovetail into the gameplay. This is a fast and simple game to play. It's literally lay out some cards, grab one, put it in your grid. If it's a 2-player game, grab another one, put it in your grid. So it's really smooth, really fast. The decision space in it, though, is really cool because, so the other thing on the bottom of those cards is that it tells you how many of that number are in the deck. So there aren't many 1s and there aren't many 9s. So when you do, say, have the 5s, which I think are the most prevalent, and you have that one to validate, do you risk it and you put in your 9 spot hoping you're going to get a 9 to validate? But then that 9 might have a bunch of X's on it, which means that 9 is really going to be maybe netting you 3 points. So really trying to figure out that. Trying to min-max the score of the color groups as it gets progressively better each round. Sometimes you may throw a card that's got a couple of X's over a card that's got like a swirl, because that's going to extend that color group and link it up to here. So it might be a more optimized play. So just kind of that whole, there's that little bit of level of depth where it's not just grab all the swirls, although that is what Bri usually tends to do. I normally don't score well on swirls. And we come out about even there. I think she's won just as many as I have with that strategy of getting swirls. Like she'll score 14 points when it comes to symbols, and I'll have like 2. But I'll do much better at validating, or I'll do much better at the color groups. So the fact that with it being such a small itty-bitty game of just cards, that there are different ways of winning, that those different strategy ways you can go, and not just be limited to, well, I'm just going to get a bunch of colors together. I mean, but colors together works well in the 3rd round, but in that 2nd round, you're only looking at 2 points per card, so it's probably not going to be enough to offset any of those negatives that are on there. So that we really enjoyed that gameplay element of it, of the strategic depth that gets put into this card playing. So overall, I'm going to say we did enjoy this one. We have noticed we have enjoyed quite a few games that this designer has done and or worked on. One of them is also from Pandasaurus Games called Far Away. Again, kind of about like optimizing your card placement. We really enjoy the fact that this is fast, this is portable, this can go into our little game bag that we take with us to breweries or out to dinners. Like the grids can get kind of big, but it's not going to be more than like a pub table because you're just going to have the little row there, and then you're just grid, and you can even minimize your grid as much as possible. So we really do enjoy the fact that it is another new, fun, portable game with some strategic elements that we can take out on our date nights and such. So that means overall, I'm going to say it go very good. We are giving Pixies an 8 out of 10. Found that it did what it wanted to do, and it did it very well and in a very engaging way. So that is how we thought it'd go. Now, if you could please go down below and hit like, subscribe, comment, share, and ring the bell on this video. That would be much appreciated. And while you're down there, if you want to check out the link to our new thing at Ko-fi, where you can go ahead and buy a drink to help support the channel and toast to Pixies. So, until next time, flutter, 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 flutter.